Your body's preparing to eat itself right now, and you have no idea it's happening. Not in some distant future, not when you're starving. Right now, inside you, your cells are deciding, quietly, methodically, which parts of you are worth keeping and which parts need to be consumed to keep you alive. It's been doing this since you were born. But when you eat once a day, you force it to make a choice it wasn't designed to make in modern times. And what happens next, hour by hour, will either rebuild you or break you down in ways you've never considered. Imagine your body as a city. Every hour you don't eat, the power grid shifts, factories shut down, emergency protocols activate, resources get rerouted. Some neighborhoods thrive, others go dark. By the time you finally eat again, the city has completely reorganized itself. But here's the part nobody tells you. Some of those changes are irreversible, some of them are extraordinary, and your brain, the mayor of the city, has been lying to you about which is which. Let me take you inside the first 24 hours of eating once a day, not the version you've heard from diet influencers or fitness gurus, the real version, the one scientists discovered when they tracked what actually happens inside the human body when food disappears for 23 hours and returns for 1. Hour 1 to 4. The insulin crash, you don't feel, you finish your meal. Let's say it's 6 p.m. Your stomach is full. Your brain is satisfied. You think your body is resting. It's not. Within the first hour, your pancreas floods your bloodstream with insulin, a hormone that acts like a delivery truck, dropping glucose into your cells for energy. But here's the problem. When you eat once a day, your body knows this is the only delivery it's getting, so it overreacts. It doesn't just store energy, it hoards it. Your insulin levels spike higher than they would if you ate multiple meals. And for the next 3 hours, your cells are in stockpile mode, cramming glucose into your liver and muscles like a doomsday prepper filling a bunker. But then, around hour 4, something shifts. Your insulin levels crash, and your body realizes the trucks aren't coming back. That's when the real experiment begins. Hour 5 to 8, the glycogen gamble. By hour 5, your blood sugar is dropping. You might feel it, maybe a slight dip in energy, a fleeting moment of irritability. But inside, your liver is making a critical decision. Your liver stores about 100 grams of glycogen, basically emergency sugar reserves. It's enough to power your brain and body for roughly 12 to 16 hours if you're not doing anything intense. But here's the catch. Your liver doesn't know if you're fasting on purpose or if you're in actual danger. So it hedges its bets. It releases glycogen slowly, drop by drop, keeping your blood sugar stable, but not abundant. This is where most people fail at eating once a day without realizing why. They think hunger is the enemy. It's not. The enemy is the anxiety your brain creates when it detects falling glucose. See, your brain uses 20% of your body's energy despite being only 2% of your weight. And when it senses fuel running low, it doesn't just ask politely for food. It screams. It sends signals that feel like panic, like urgency, like something is wrong. But nothing is wrong. This is just your ancient wiring, designed for a world where missing a meal could mean death, colliding with your modern choice to eat once a day. What scientists found is this. People who push through hours 5 to 8 without eating experience a psychological shift. Not immediately, but their brain starts to learn that the panic was a false alarm, that the fuel didn't run out, that survival didn't require immediate food, and over weeks, that panic weakens. But in the beginning, it feels like your body is betraying you. Hour 9 to 12. The ketone whisper. By hour 9, your liver's glycogen is half empty. Your blood sugar is lower than it's been all day. And here's where your body does something unexpected. It starts whispering in a different language. Ketones. You've probably heard of them. They're the molecules your liver produces when it breaks down fat for fuel. But here's what nobody explains clearly. Ketones aren't just a backup energy. They're a completely different operating system for your brain. Glucose is like gasoline, fast, efficient, but burns dirty. Ketones are like premium electric power, clean, steady, and they make your brain work differently. Studies from Johns Hopkins and the National Institutes of Health found that when your brain runs on ketones, it produces less oxidative stress. Translation? Less inflammation, less brain fog. But also, and this is the part that unsettles people, less emotional reactivity. You become calmer. Not because you're zen, but because ketones literally change the way your neurons fire. But here's the tension. By hour 12, you're not fully in ketosis yet. You're in this strange in-between zone. Some cells are still burning the last drops of glucose. Others are tentatively switching to fat. And your body is waiting to see if food is coming. If it does, the switch flips back. If it doesn't, the transformation continues. And this is where it gets interesting. Hour 13 to 16. Autophagy activates. Your cells start eating themselves. Around hour 13, something extraordinary begins. A process most people have never heard of. Autophagy. It literally means self-eating. And it sounds horrifying until you understand what it actually does. Every cell in your body accumulates junk. Damaged proteins, broken mitochondria, toxic waste. Normally your cells are too busy growing and reproducing to clean house, but when you stop eating for more than 12 hours, your body flips a genetic switch. It stops building, and it starts renovating. Autophagy is your body's recycling program. It hunts down damaged cell parts, breaks them apart, and rebuilds them into new functional components. Dr. Yoshinori Osumi won the Nobel Prize in 2016 for discovering the mechanisms behind this process. And what he found was staggering. Autophagy doesn't just clean your cells. It makes them younger. It removes the cellular rust that accumulates with age. But here's the brutal truth. Autophagy only kicks in when your body believes resources are scarce. You can't trick it. You can't supplement it. The only way to activate it is to stop eating. And by hour 16, if you've held out this long, your cells are deep in renovation mode. Your immune system is stronger. Your cells are more resilient. But your brain is starting to ask a very different question. Not when will I eat, but why did I ever eat so often? Hour 17 to 20, the hunger that disappears. This is the part that confuses people the most. By hour 17, you'd expect to be ravenous, desperate, obsessing over food. But something strange happens. The hunger fades, not forever, but it softens. It becomes background noise instead of a siren. Why? Because your body has finally accepted that food isn't coming. And when it accepts that, it stops asking. Your ghrelin levels, the hunger hormone, actually drop. Your stomach stops growling. And your brain, now running smoothly on ketones, stops sending panic signals. Researchers at the University of Southern California found that people who consistently eat once a day report that hunger becomes less intense over time, not more, but there's a darker side to this that no one talks about. Because while your hunger fades, your body is also making another decision, one that you won't notice until weeks, maybe months later. It's deciding whether this once-a-day pattern is a temporary crisis or a permanent reality. And depending on what it concludes, it will either optimize you for survival or start shutting you down. Hour 21 to 23. The hormonal reckoning. By hour 21, you've been fasting for nearly a full day. And your endocrine system, the network of glands that controls your hormones, is in full assessment mode. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. Your cortisol, the stress hormone, has been elevated for hours, not dangerously, but chronically, because from your body's perspective, not eating for 23 hours isn't intermittent fasting. It's a mild, ongoing stressor. And while short-term cortisol can sharpen focus and boost fat burning, long-term elevation does something else entirely. It signals your body to conserve energy. Your leptin levels, the hormone that tells your brain you're full, are plummeting. This is why, even though you're not hungry right now, your brain is quietly logging a deficit. It's creating a biological debt, and it will collect. For women, this gets more complicated. Studies from the University of Copenhagen found that women's bodies are far more sensitive to caloric restriction than men's. Eating once a day can trigger a survival response that lowers estrogen and disrupts reproductive hormones, even if you're eating enough calories. Why? Because your body interprets prolonged fasting as a signal that food is scarce. And in a scarce environment, reproduction becomes a liability. So while men might adapt smoothly to eating once a day, women's bodies often fight back, not out of weakness, out of biological wisdom. Your body is protecting you from bringing a child into a world it believes is starving. But here's the tension. You're not starving. You're choosing this. And your body doesn't know the difference. Hour 24, the feast, and the metabolic whiplash. Finally, 6 p.m. rolls around again. You sit down to eat, and for the next hour your body experiences something close to metabolic whiplash. Your insulin spikes, hard. Because your cells have been starved of glucose for 23 hours, they're hypersensitive to it now. They absorb sugar faster and more aggressively than they would if you'd eaten earlier in the day. This is why some people feel an intense high after their one meal. It's not just psychological, it's biochemical. Your brain is flooding with glucose after running on fumes. But this creates a paradox. On one hand, this insulin sensitivity is good. It means your cells are efficient. They're not resistant, they're responsive. This is why some studies show that eating once a day can improve metabolic markers like blood sugar control and cholesterol levels. But on the other hand, this extreme insulin spike, followed by another 23-hour fast, creates a hormonal roller coaster. And roller coasters are thrilling for a while, but ride them every day for months, and your body starts to break down in subtle ways. Your thyroid slows. Your metabolism adapts. Your energy becomes unpredictable. And here's what scientists discovered that changes everything. Your body doesn't just adapt to eating once a day. It adapts to eating the same amount of calories in fewer meals. Meaning, over time, you don't burn more fat. You just become more efficient at surviving on less. Your metabolism down-regulates. You feel colder. You move less without realizing it. You conserve energy subconsciously. This is called metabolic adaptation. And it's why eating once a day works brilliantly for some people and backfires for others. The psychology no one warns you about, but let's talk about the part that isn't biological. The part that's purely in your head, but somehow feels more real than anything else. When you eat once a day, food stops being casual. It becomes an event, a ritual, the one thing you think about, plan around, anticipate. And for some people, this is liberating. It simplifies life. It removes decision fatigue. It turns eating into something intentional instead of mindless. But for others, it becomes an obsession. Every hour you don't eat, you're aware of it. You're counting down. You're white-knuckling through cravings that aren't even physical. They're just the absence of routine. You're sitting across from friends at lunch, sipping water, feeling like an outsider. And slowly, quietly, your relationship with food warps. It's no longer fuel. It's a reward, a prize, something you earned by suffering through 23 hours of deprivation. And this is the part nobody talks about. Eating once a day doesn't just change your metabolism. It changes your identity. You become the person who eats once a day. And identity is a cage. Because once you build your sense of self around a behavior, breaking that behavior feels like losing yourself. The truth no one wants to hear. So what actually happens to your body when you eat once a day? The answer is, it depends on who you are. If you're metabolically healthy, if you're male, if you're not under chronic stress, if you're eating nutrient-dense food in that one meal, your body might thrive. You might experience mental clarity, fat loss, reduced inflammation, and a sense of control you've never felt before. But if you're female, if you're already stressed, if you're under-eating, if you're using food restriction as a form of control rather than health, your body will rebel. Your hormones will crash. Your energy will tank. And you'll blame yourself for doing it wrong, when really, you were just asking your body to do something it wasn't designed to do. The scientists who study time-restricted eating will tell you this. It's not about when you eat. It's about whether your body feels safe. And safety isn't just physical. It's psychological. It's social. It's emotional. Your body doesn't care about your calorie deficit or your ketone levels or your Instagram aesthetics. It cares about one thing, survival. And if eating once a day makes it feel like survival is threatened, even if you're perfectly healthy, it will fight you, quietly, invisibly, until one day you wake up exhausted, cold, irritable, and confused about why doing everything right feels so wrong. So here's the real question. Not what happens to your body when you eat once a day, but this. Are you eating once a day because it makes you feel alive or because it makes you feel in control? Because one of those will heal you, and the other will hollow you out from the inside 1 hour at a time. Your body is rebuilt or broken down. But the choice? That was never about the food. It was always about what you believe you deserve. So tell me, when was the last time you ate without guilt?